It's BD. Today I am going to basically create the interval pumping footnote and address any of the comments that I received on interval pumping. So before I get into it, I have a Patreon where I am trying to write curations of my Reddit content as well as post my scripts for when I do actually write a script there. It might be up your... Then we have Leviathan Wellness Supplements on Amazon and LeviathanSubs.com. That is Vigor, our stimulant-free nitric oxide boosting pre-workout. We formulated it to be very good value for your money and still compete with the more premium brands. So it's probably worth your while. And then Peak Male Physique for penis enlargement aids that are not needed but can help. So let's get into it. First, for the more experienced guys, they still developed a relatively high amount of edema. And this was a little perplexing to me because it just doesn't really make sense scientifically when you think about it. But when you dig deeper, let's first talk about, in the general sense, some guys are just going to have a much faster swell response than others. So, like I used this example before, one of my friends, when he sprained his ankle, it literally swelled like a melon. And then when I sprained my ankle, in the same exact fashion, it did not swell whatsoever. So your own personal swell response will have a great impact on this. However, you should still have significantly less edema than compared to regular pumping with interval pumping. Let's say you've been pumping for 2 to 3 years and got really good at pumping. The thing is that you're training your lymphatic system to expand and swell. Therefore, you can still generate a lot of edema quickly just because you were trained for it. And this is something that just dawned on me like a week or two ago, that if you did a lot of like fetish pumping to get like really thick and I don't want to say grotesque, but bloated, you know, that very specific overpumped look, you're really just training the lymphatic system and the skin to fill with water. So if you've constantly overpumped, you're just going to get very good at overpumping. And your lymphatic systems is actually what's going to be enlarging rather than the blood-holding tissues of the penis. So that might be the issue as well. But I'm not exactly sure why. The science says more sets with the same total amount of time is going to be optimal. So if 2 minutes is causing too much edema for you, try 5 minutes. And then additionally, last thing on this point is that the amount of pressure you do is going to have the greatest impact on the edema you generate. So if you're doing above 10 Hg, you're going to have a crap ton of edema regardless. And if you have to pump above 10 Hg to feel slight discomfort, then I would suggest taking a break. Rest. I did not mention rest in that video because it was unscripted and I shot it twice. So I forgot to do it the second time. For rest, I've been really rethinking this. Initially, I thought, okay, let's back up. For flexibility and soft tissues, you're best off applying this tension every day because that's going to cause the most chances for collagen failure, and then therefore you can remodel quickly. I'm just thinking, like when I had braces, I had to get an expander in the top of my mouth. That was a 1 to 2 twists a day, so my mouth would constantly feel this stretch to make my teeth go into place. Very painful now that I think about it. But it should be some similar principle. You constantly apply the tension daily for the best results. However, your workload has to come down to match that. So that means the 4 days a week recommendation was more or less because the practices that were taught to me and then I passed on to you guys were a bit on the edge of overwork. So you needed that day to recover. What I'm thinking now is that you don't need to rest unless your erection quality drops. Now, my partner, Doc Hank, you should all know him by now, said that if you're like on something like finasteride, your libido and therefore erection quality can swing drastically. Therefore, that's not going to be a great marker. But for you normal guys, If your erection quality drops just a little bit, take a break. But for people with hormonal issues, keep that in mind, that it's not going to be necessarily the best indicator. Then, if you feel slightly sore still the next day, don't do PE. You need to rest. Then, if you have a slight loss in sensation, now this is going to vary case by case, but for me, I can tell I'm overworking based off of how sensitive I am during sex. So if I'm like not very sensitive at all, then I'm overworking and need to take a break. Same thing for masturbation. So that's what I'm going off of. And then you want to tweak your workouts to be the fine line where you're getting to 104 to 106% overexpansion of interval pumping and not have the drop in EQ. So it's that fine balance that we need to figure out for efficiency. Am I certain this works? Yes, but I'm not certain it works better than normal pumping. Just because the only thing that's really changing is the amount of sets we're doing, not so much the total time. Now, I am suggesting now that you want to do less time, but more frequent sessions of PE in general. But again, if we're talking about the macro perspective, your amount of time is going to be roughly the same over the week. And then your total amount of work is going to be roughly the same. All we're doing is quantifying it a little bit better and then breaking it up to make it less inefficient. So yeah, I'm positive it works. I'm just not 100% sold that it's more effective than traditional pumping. The science says this is more efficient, so I'm going to go out on the limb and say yes, it's more efficient. Length pumping. Is this good for it? Technically, yes, but I don't recommend length pumping in general anymore. And that is just because it's not very efficient at either length or girth. Because when you think about it, you're not allowing the tunica to expand fully beyond its normal capacity because it's stuck in this tight chamber. Therefore, you're not getting the rings of the tunica to go and fail. And then that inflammation and the pressure on the inside is going to make it harder for the long bands of the tunica, the ones that run up and down your penis, to fully extend and then fully stretch out, causing the collagen failure. So it's really a roundabout way to cause a bunch of inflammation and not necessarily cause optimal tissue degradation to cause these changes in size. It should work still on paper, but you're better off hanging and then doing pumping right after, in my theory for growth. And that, I just don't understand why anyone would length pump if they had the choice not to, because it's really uncomfortable. But that's either here nor there. Then finally, did I steal this? Meaning, let's give some context actually. So, you know how there's r/getting bigger. There is a joke for you, which is another subreddit, and then there is the Angion subreddit. People have pointed out this is similar to angio pumping. Now, I don't like Janice that much in particular. I don't go on a subreddit, so I did not know that thing exists. I didn't even know he recognized pumping as a potential avenue for growth. However, we both can come to similar conclusions, but he probably came to a completely different conclusion knowing Janice than what I did, looking at the same general research. Now, that's fine. That's more or less me just being in the dark. As for the older places, there's Thunder's Place, there's PE Gym, there's Matters of Size, and then there's some fetish pumping forms. People are saying, people have pointed out that this is very similar to dynamic pumping and pulse pumping, which it is. However, what I was taught is that pulse pumping is when you do moderate pressure, pulse up to high pressure very quickly, hold it for 15 seconds and go back down to moderate pressure. I've done this before in the past. It just created a lot of edema. Then dynamic pumping actually came to my attention through r/getting bigger. Someone was using an automated pump to do basically 10 seconds on, 0 seconds off, repeat. And I played around with this too. It was interesting, but I got sidetracked and that was that. I've come to the conclusion with interval pumping based off of me looking at Big Caveman, um, by looking at the research for physiotherapy for tendon repair. And then that's why I was like, okay, the more load cycles, the better. Therefore, we should do some kind of shorter sets. I did not mean to steal anyone's thunder. Okay. If I had an exact person that gave me or came up with this, then I would have talked about it. But this was me looking at research, saying this is how we do it. Furthermore, like I said, there is 6 communities. I cannot be on top of all of them. I am much more focused on my own research because a lot of the stuff on the older stuff, like the older forums, is very unsubstantial. So, or is very unproven. It's a lot of hearsay and speculation. Now, what I'm doing is a lot of hearsay and speculation, but I at least have a research study to back up this point. And the old forums are dead. I have not been on them since 2019 frequently. The only worthwhile thread I know of is Kerpa on Thunderplace's heating method. And I think they call it hanging with fire now. So that might be a video, but again, I still haven't read his thread just because it's so long. That's why I don't like forums as much. It's hard to know when to pick up and pick off. But anyway, so yeah, I did not intentionally steal anything. It's not really an original idea. Again, there's only so much you can do to a penis. All I'm saying is to do it this way. And also it'd be different if the people that originally came up with these ideas were the ones saying that I was stealing stuff. It's just some random guy that's saying I stole this stuff, or at least saying it's similar. I don't have a problem with you saying it's similar because it's very similar. What I have a problem with is you insinuating that I stole this. It's pretty fucking simple, dude. You know, like I'm literally telling you to pump up for 2 minutes, release, repeat. There's nothing groundbreaking with it if we're being completely honest, and therefore should not really be the concern that I did not call it whatever the old forums called it. And also, a lot of these places did not really have reasoning behind it. He's like, most of the time when they come to these new methods is that, wow, this feels great. I'm going to call it this. You all should try it. And that's that. But there's no ever scientific process into explaining why it's great. And that's my main thing now, is that I'm trying to make PE almost a formalized type of therapy. So yeah, that one bugged me a bit if you couldn't tell. That wraps it up for interval pumping, I think. As for finding a routine on this, again, it's so simple that I didn't create one yet. I know it's harder for you guys on YouTube to find stuff, but it's on r/gettingbigger. That is a subreddit. So reddit.com r/gettingbigger, and then you'll find my face probably all over it at this point, or my penis, probably more my penis than anything. But it's there. And what I'm working on is I'm making a cheat sheet that I'm going to link below to important posts from r/gettingbigger and around the web to help you find the stuff you need that is safe for YouTube. That is the hard part, because YouTube sees r/gettingbigger as a porn site. So I can't link anything from r/gettingbigger without getting it removed and then a strike on my channel. So I need to do this intermediate step. Hopefully it works. If not, I'll be silent for a month as I have a community guideline strike, but that's fine. What else? Oh, my beard may look much darker and fuller. I dyed it. So I'm actually a dirty blonde. It's hard to tell in this lighting, but in the summer it's much more apparent. So my beard, first of all, is just patchy to begin with. Second of all, is a dirty blonde. So I just dyed it to the color it looks like when it's should be, when it's nice and full. But anyway, I've just brought that up because I know some of you guys want to have a nice and thick beard. This is an easy way to do it. Let's see. Patreon, Leviathan Subs, do it on Amazon. We are sold out on leviathansubs.com. And then Peak Male Physique for penis enlargement aids. That can help. but are not needed. See you in the next one.